All right, hey everyone, we are back here at Be a Warrior, and it is a fabulous week. As you can probably tell if you're on YouTube and watching, I am not in my normal location. I am actually up north where it's much cooler in northern Arizona, and it's beautiful and wonderful and quiet, and the leaves have fallen, and it is wonderful. So wonderful things to be thankful for. Wanted to give a quick shout out again to Bionic Skins. Eric and Lauren, thank you so much. Last week I had Eric and Lauren from Bionic Skins out in Massachusetts, Dr. Hugh Herr's company, that were on, and we were talking a lot about their very customized liners and the studies they are doing right now and the people they are helping. So if you are interested in them or have some questions about it, take a look at them at bionicskins.com and at Bionic Skins on Instagram. And I believe they're on Facebook too. So shout out to them because it was a great interview. Cannot wait to go and meet them in person. I was out there not too long ago, and they had an emergency they had to tend to, and I only had about an hour time, and it happened to be at the same time. So we didn't get to meet, but I am looking forward to seeing them. Now, an update. A couple weeks ago, I had talked to you guys about how so for those of you that don't know, I'm 6 years almost amputee. December of 2018, I became an amputee. And for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, I have been in the same exact skin fit socket, which has been fabulous because I went through like 13 in the first 3 years, if not in less time, actually probably about 2.5 to 3 years. I went in through 13 sockets because so much had changed, and it was absolutely nuts having so much change. And then I finally got on the level plane, and I've only been in 2 different skin fit sockets, if I'm not mistaken. And the only reason I went into a second one was not because the fit was wrong, but my liner, my inside soft liner or socket, was actually little tiny cracks were appearing that I could not see. It took my prosthetist bending it outside of the hard socket to find that there were little cracks. And what they would do would be open and pinch my skin on the back of my leg. And I can't even tell you the rashes that it would give me and the pain of rawness at every step that would happen until we figured it out. We tried fixing it multiple times by just kind of warming the plastic and kind of smoothing it over. And then finally, it just was no longer helping. And so there's the only reason why I'm in the socket that I was in. So for a year and a half, so fabulous, so wonderful. And like all things amputee life, the moment you feel like everything's status quo and you finally are on an uphill battle and it's easy going and everything's great, something changes. I don't know what it was a couple weeks ago. I do know that I had several more episodes of phantom pains and higher sensations happening at night by the time I take my socket off, but it was stuff I could ignore, and I was like, I'll deal with it because I know it's not going to be perfect. A little bit of the mindset game that we have to play. But when one day it was burning so bad a few weeks ago that I just kind of kept pushing through, when I went to take my socket off that night, I noticed that I had a big, huge, I would say it must have been at least 2 to 3 inches long blister and about 1.5 inches wide and about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick with fluid. I don't even know how it didn't pop, to be honest with you, how hard I was running around and cooking that day. I can tell you the day exactly and how it went, and I just kept thinking, oh, it's just a burn, I'll be fine. And that was one of the few times I kind of freaked out taking off my socket, because I was like, that is not what you want to see as an amputee, because I know the next day I'm going to want to wear my socket. And that looked like something that I was not going to be able to do. But if you know me, you will know that I tried for about 5 minutes and I hated crutches. So I slowly and carefully pulled my leg in with my bag because I'm a skin fit. So I was pulling all that skin, and the blister is at my valve hole where the skin pulls through. Again, don't know how I didn't pop the blister, but I made it through. I did that very gentle, tender putting on for like 7 to 9 days while the blister would rise, and then I would like let it leak a little at night and rise again during the day. I did that on and on and on and on and on. I just didn't do a ton of activity. I just was around the house. I didn't do a lot of extreme stuff. I did a few stores, but wanted to keep it pretty low key because I really did not want to rip it open. I was not afraid of infection as much as I was afraid of how raw the skin was underneath the blister. I mean, it was painful to the touch when it had fluid in it, and I would just brush the top of it. It was painful. The fluid would hit the raw skin. So needless to say, that is done. But what did happen was yours truly now has a new test socket. So you can kind of see if you're looking in. This is a clear test socket. That's my skin. This is also a casting material because he did the putty, it hardened. But to make sure it doesn't break off from my sea leg, we've got it kind of casted material on, so it is set. But this is called a test or a check socket, and I am grateful that I get to bring it home up to our cabin, trying to tool around with it. However, in the first day I had it, by nightfall, I thought I was fine. The next morning, which was this morning, it was starting to unsuction because it's too big. So needless to say, grocery shopping today to come up here was intense because I was so afraid my socket was going to fall off. And I am now just bringing the groceries in and everything. That was hard, but being grateful because I know that something new is on the horizon, and my skin was feeling much nicer. So for those of you that don't know, when your socket stops fitting right, and this could be 6 years in, it could be my 1.5 years that I've had the same exact socket and my weight was the same. Like I've only fluctuated a couple pounds up, down in the last 1.5 years. But things change. And one of the things that can happen besides rashes, blisters, or feeling like it's falling off is you can have what we call pistoning. And honestly, I was getting my test socket last week, but we were heading to Vegas for the F1 this past weekend. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to be in a test socket all around Vegas because a test socket has no soft inner liner. It just is hard plastic. You can hear it. That is all the way up into my sit bone. It is into my groin. It is up in my hip. He's risen it high. And there is no give, so it's just bruising. And I knew I could not do that all over the strip. So I put my other one back on and hoped for the best. And what ended up happening was the pistoning over the weekend. And that basically what is happening is at the top of the socket, my socket's gripping my leg, but if you were to hold your arm like I am, you can see that skin moves over your bones and your muscles. Well, when you have a lot of excess skin and no muscle and just some tissue down there, and there's room for it to grab here, it's going to start pulling the skin up and down at every step. Well, when it's doing that, it's basically hitting the residual limb in the bottom of the socket. And what that's doing is it's kind of almost like bruising it up. It doesn't feel like a bruise, but what it does do is harden that area, like rock hard solid. So an area where I'm fleshy and very soft and supple, becomes hard. It's swollen. It looks odd in shape. Well, guess what? That happened. And then the next day I had to put my socket on, and it happened again. The problem is that even though it kind of goes down at night, it's still not perfect the next morning. So you're trying to get your leg all the way in, but of course it's not fitting right. And you just keep making the problem worse. Well, my test socket yesterday, I wore it all day. It seemed to be doing really good all day. And last night, it was a beautiful feeling to take off my socket, and it came off real smooth. and it was so nice and soft. The tissue was back to normal in one day of wearing a brand new one. So I'm very hopeful that some of the things that I've been struggling with are going to be alleviated really, really soon. Yay! But that is not what I wanted to talk about with this podcast. And so with a little bit of time remaining, because I do want to make it short, it is a holiday week, I wanted to talk about going from fear to Thanksgiving. And a little play on the term, of course, but we are going into the holiday season. And we are coming across Thanksgiving, and you guys will all probably be celebrating it somehow, somewhere on Thursday. And I really hope you are surrounded by people that love you and care for you and support you in all your endeavors. And I am talking from a space where I do know that it is hard during the holidays. We lost my mom the same year I lost my leg, and I know it is hard for my father, and I know it's hard for my family that's back home in Illinois because they see the empty space at the dinner table, and we are so far removed. I still miss her, but not like my dad would miss his bride of 72 years or 62 years. And I know, so the holidays can be really tough. Well, then you add in if you're really struggling with an amputation, because life is turned upside down for several years when you have an amputation. Not only does the pain and the weird sensations really make you struggle mentally, and it is a big, hard mental struggle, it truly is. You may get an infection and you've gone in for repeated surgeries to clean it out and be on antibiotics. You might struggle with the support system you have or you do not have, and that is really hard to do it alone, even though a lot of times it is on your own kind of thing, because a lot of it is the struggle you have in your head and the way you talk to yourself and how you get through those struggles. But there are so many other aspects of being an amputee that just can really bring you down. It's harder to be in the kitchen if you are a mom, a wife, a sister that likes to be in the kitchen cooking and baking, and that's what you've always done. It is really hard to take a step back and let other people bring in and help with food. I know that has always been my passion. I was raised that way. My mom was amazing at cooking and baking and always did it up really well. And so even though it's only the four of us, I end up buying way too much food, and I work until I hurt myself, basically, because I want it to be perfect for everybody. But with that being said, it's also a really hard time because most people can't do it. You might be in a wheelchair, which makes it a lot harder to reach your sink or your oven, stove, whatever, without burning yourself or hurting yourself. So you want to make sure that you are taking it nice and easy. But I want you to sit back, and the main goal of this, and I hope the main takeaway that you get, is going from that fear, the fear of failure, the fear of disappointing, the fear of not having the support you need, the fear of the future, whatever your fears are right now and where you're at. This is the moment to redirect those thoughts, those emotions, and the mentality you have, and throw it into a time of being thankful for what you've been given. You were given a completely unique opportunity, and I know that is really hard for some of you to swallow right now, wherever you're at. But I can tell you with 100% certainty that this was a choice I made, and it was not an easy choice. It did not come quick. It was a 5-year battle for me before I made the choice, and then it was a very clear-cut choice at first until I had to wait until the surgery date, and then I began to question everything. And when that happens, you doubt, you fear, you struggle with the things that you can't control. But I can tell you with all certainty, to have to do it again, and I had an option again, I would do it again. Because the opportunities, the people, the experiences that I have had, the people I've met, all that is by far the most amazing part of my life right now. My kids have gotten to see me battle and hopefully have seen me be strong, and they can now understand if somebody in their life struggles with something, they can be there as they watched my husband support me, how they supported me, how they understood me, when to make jabs and make jokes, when to push buttons, and when to just give me a hug. So there was a learning curve there for everybody. But when I think about everything I'm going through, and I can't tell you how many times people have come up to me and said, well, I've got this going on. It's nothing compared to what you have. I know that. I always say, you know what? I wouldn't want to go through with what you're going through, what I'm going through. I'm not going through it anymore. Mentally, I'm not going through it anymore. Physically, every day to day, I have to push myself. But my mindset is, this is what I want to do because I want to succeed in life. I want to live again. I want to enjoy things. I want to explore. I want to experience. I want it all. And it does give you a second chance at life. When you've made a great decision, a great medical decision in your life, it does change your thinking. It needs to. And if you are a person that it wasn't a choice of yours, but it was brought upon you, and you woke up as an amputee, you were born as an amputee, you had an accident and you went through something really gruesome and horrible and horrific and mentally below your mind kind of an experience, you too can still see what has been given to you as a gift, because you're going to be able to go much further in life when you notice that you were chosen for this path. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't by accident. I believe by design. And as much as you want to fight it and you want to hate it, the fact is it's already done. You're already where you're at. The more you fight it, the harder your life becomes. And why would you want to do that? You've already been through the hardest part, and that is healing from an amputation, dealing with the accident, dealing with the diabetes, dealing with the cancer, whatever it is that you went through. You've already gone through it. That is now in your past. What does your future look like? And I just want you to spend this Thanksgiving week and these holiday seasons that we're coming into, whatever you believe, whatever you celebrate, it is all of our seasons really are about giving and being grateful, feeling blessed, enjoying the moment, being with family, celebrating life. This is the time to dig in and change your mindset, because the mindset is the one thing you can control and will change your life forever. I promise you. So as you're getting ready to go to a family member's house, and you might be like, oh, family. I know the big joke is always, family time, great. Everybody has those family members that they can't wait to see and can't wait to get away from. But I want you to think of the blessings that you have in your life. I want you to understand that you are not dealing with the worst thing in the world anymore. And there are other people that are worse off than you. And I have seen people much worse off than me with a smile on their face, and they said, you know what? Yeah, life has thrown curveballs, and I'm going to take it in stride. And that's really what it is, day to day, not worrying about the future because you don't know what that's going to entail, but to be thankful. Be thankful for the food in front of you, the shelter that you have, the dirty laundry, the dirty dishes, shows that you have a place to stay, you have clothes on your back, you have food in your stomach. Be grateful for the person that drives you nuts in your life, because they're the ones that are probably going to show up the most, and they're going to be the ones that you can lean into and always count on. But just be grateful that you have breath in your lungs. Be grateful that you are here listening to this right now, and that I think you're spectacular. This is a time for us to change thinking. Don't wait for New Year's Eve to say, I'll start then. I'm going to have a better mindset. I'm going to change my life. Because you know that New Year's resolutions, if you've listened to any of my podcasts in the past 4 years, I hate New Year's resolutions, because you know what? They set you up to fail. But if you can start your mindset now, today, right this minute that you're listening, if your mindset isn't where it needs to be, and you are disappointed where you're at, you're frustrated where you're at, you're angry, you're sad, you're emotional, you're a wreck, you can't see anything good coming in the future, then you are the person that needs to be finding the things that you can be grateful for in your life. It could be just the fact that you have breath in your lungs and you are awake today, because that shows that you have a purpose, that you were woken up today to do something with yourself for somebody else. Fill somebody else's bucket. Fill your own bucket. But get out there and be grateful. Find the blessings in the little things, whether it is a good book, a song you love, the birds that are finally chirping, a little bit of a flurry in the air if you're seeing some snow, a beautiful, beautiful changing tree of leaf colors. I'm up here and it's wonderful. My feet are freezing right now. I just turned on the heat in our cabin here, and it's been closed up, and my 1 foot that I have is freezing. So I didn't turn the heat up enough. So I'm going to be bundling up here, and I am grateful that I can feel the cold, because that means that I can feel and that I'm alive and that I have those emotions and those senses, and I'm going to go grab a sweatshirt and I'm going to bundle up, and I've got my pups here, and I'm grateful for those little ones because I didn't think the puppy was going to lay down. She was chewing on a bone here, and I finally got her to lay down, so now I'm really excited. And then tomorrow becomes a full-on baking day here in my home. So I'm enjoying the time here, quiet time that I have up here for a day before my family comes up. I hope and pray that you have a beautiful, beautiful Thanksgiving. I hope that you find all the blessings and you notice how blessed you really are and how many things you have to be thankful for. But don't let it be a holiday thing. Don't get thankful for Thanksgiving and be done at the end of the day and be like, bah humbug on Friday. Continue that thankfulness. Make a list. Your call to action. I haven't done one in a few weeks. Your call to action is to write down what you're thankful for. And I challenge you to start today and go through and write down something every day. Even if it's just one thing that was beautiful that happened that day that makes you feel grateful for being alive. Despite the pain, despite the frustration, despite the setbacks that you might be going through, because I know you're going through it. We all are. We all go through it. Despite missing someone terribly and your heart feels broken this holiday season, just know that I'm praying for you. Know that my heart goes out to you. But please know that you are in charge of your mindset, and only you can put yourself to the sky, or you can bury yourself in the ground with your mindset. So you choose. And every day, get up and be grateful for the sunshine, or the cloudy weather, the flurries, or the breeze, whatever it is that makes you happy, and grab onto that. Hug the person that you love dearly. Call someone that makes you feel loved. Support someone that you know needs it as well. Reach out to someone that's alone this holiday, because you might be frustrated because you're around family members that you really can't stand being around, and there's someone wishing their family members were there. So do something good, think about something good, change your mindset, and have a beautiful Thanksgiving. I love you, and I am praying for you. And as always, be healthy, be happy, be you.